Good morning students. Today we are going to study chemistry for class 8 and this is video number 3 for the third chapter. Today we are going to study mixtures in detail. Mixtures can be broadly classified into two: homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous and heterogeneous. Homo means same. Okay. So homogeneous mixtures have uniform composition and properties throughout. Homogeneous mixtures have uniform composition and properties throughout. That we can understand with the help of an example. If you take a glass of water and add a spoon of salt to it, the salt dissolves thoroughly, isn't it? And if you taste that glass of water, it will be salty throughout, and that saltiness is going to be uniform. That means that glass of water has the same composition and the same properties throughout. Alright, let us see few more examples. Sugar in water, tap water, salt in water, sea water, blood, and etc. Then heterogeneous. Hetero means different. A heterogeneous mixture does not have uniform composition and properties throughout. A heterogeneous mixture does not have uniform composition and properties throughout. That means the particles in that are in physically distinct regions. That means if you look at a heterogeneous mixture, we can tell which constituents are present, but that is not possible in homogeneous. In homogeneous mixtures, you cannot tell the constituent present in it. Like if you see a glass of salty water and a glass of plain water, you won't be able to see any difference physically. But then we know salty water has salt in it, isn't it? But in heterogeneous, we can see that distinction physically. Alright? The example we can take a glass of water. If you take and add sand to it, you know the sand will not dissolve, but it will remain suspended and finally it will settle down at the bottom. And in that mixture we can see sand and water separately in two different regions. Okay, so that is a heterogeneous mixture. Few more examples we can see. Sand and common salt, that also if you mix together, they won't mix thoroughly. They will have different composition and properties. Then iron fillings and sulfur, muddy water and smoke. Alright. Then there is a term alloy. And alloy is a homogeneous solid mixture of two or more metals or metals and non-metals. An alloy is a homogeneous solid mixture of two or more metals or metals and non-metals is called an alloy. How are we going to make an alloy and why is it made, that I'll tell you. An alloy can be made by mixing the two metals. And how do we mix them? First we will liquefy. Suppose if we have to mix iron and gold, suppose if we have to mix, then we will have to liquefy both. We will liquefy iron, we will liquefy gold, and then we will mix them together. And when they solidify, they will form an alloy of iron and gold. Okay. Example I tell you, steel is an alloy, isn't it? Steel is an alloy of iron and carbon. In that case, we have to liquefy iron, that is a metal, and we have to liquefy carbon, that is a non-metal. Both we need to liquefy and mix together and solidify, and they will form an alloy of steel. And why do we do it? We form alloys to increase the properties of that particular metal. Like we know iron, normally if it is kept in the atmosphere, it rusts because it gets moisture and oxygen. It will form a reddish brown layer on its outside, on its surface, and its quality deteriorates. To prevent that rusting, we will add carbon. Okay, and that then by mixing that iron and carbon will get steel, and that steel does not rust. The common use of steel is steel utensils are there in the kitchen. Constantly they are in contact with water, but they do not rust. Okay, few more examples are brass, bronze, German silver and steel. Now I'll study two more terms, suspension and emulsion. A suspension is a heterogeneous mixture in which small solid particles are suspended in a liquid. If it is a heterogeneous mixture, that means the solid will not be dissolved in that liquid. But what happens, that solid remains suspended, remain floating in that liquid, and it forms a suspension. Let us see the definition again. A suspension is a heterogeneous mixture in which small solid particles are suspended in a liquid. Example, you see chalk powder in water. That we can understand if we try to dissolve chalk powder in water. We know that chalk is not going to dissolve in that water, but it will remain suspended. It will remain floating in that glass of water and form a suspension. Okay, some more examples are some medicines and syrups. That is why it is recommended to shake the medicines or syrups before use, because that particles are not mixed in water, they remain suspended, and sometimes if we keep it for a very long time, stationary if we keep it, that particles may try to settle down. So that we get the particles properly, it is recommended to shake the bottle of syrup before use. Okay, and the next term is emulsion. An emulsion is a heterogeneous mixture that consists of particles of one liquid dispersed in another liquid. An emulsion is also a heterogeneous mixture in which we are going to take two immiscible liquids. So what will happen? One liquid will remain dispersed in another liquid. It will not dissolve because they are immiscible liquids. They won't be mixed thoroughly, but they will somehow remain dispersed in one another. The example here is milk. Milk normally if we see, we feel it as a homogeneous mixture, but actually it is not. Milk is a heterogeneous mixture. In fact, it is an emulsion in which the fat particles are dispersed in water, and that we can see if we boil that milk and keep it to cool, we can see the fat particles coming on the top. We call it malai. So you see, it is a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, now we'll study about the characteristics of mixtures in detail. The first one, the constituents in a mixture may be present in any ratio or proportion. That means if we have to make a mixture of salt and water, the amount is not fixed. We may take 1 glass of water and 1 spoon of salt, or we may take 2 glasses of water and 3 spoons of salt. Both will finally form salt mixture, salt and water mixture only, nothing else. That means their amount, their quantity is not fixed. Okay. The next one. A mixture does not have any specific property of its own. In a mixture, each constituent exhibits its original properties. That means a mixture will not have any specific or new properties of its own. It will only show the properties of its constituent elements. The example we can take here is air. I told you air is a mixture of so many gases. One gas we can take oxygen. Oxygen, if we take individually, it is a supporter of combustion, and in that mixture also, in air also, oxygen supports combustion. That means it is going to show its properties. It will not show any different or any new properties. The same is the case with all other constituent elements also. Okay. The next one. A mixture does not have a fixed melting or boiling point. That means if we consider a mixture, we cannot tell its melting or boiling point. If we take 1 glass of water and add 1 spoon of salt to it, and we take the same quantity of water and add 5 spoons of salt to it, both these mixtures will have different melting and boiling points. Although we know if we take just plain water, its melting and boiling point is fixed. 100 degrees Celsius is the boiling point, 0 degrees Celsius is the melting point. But for that combination, for that mixture of salt and water, the melting and boiling points are not fixed. In fact, I tell you, if we add more impurities, there salt is an impurity. If we add more of that, the boiling point increases and the melting point decreases. That means that a glass of water with 5 spoons of salt in that will have a higher boiling point and a lower melting point in comparison to a glass of water with 1 spoon of salt to it. Okay, so we can say for mixtures, the melting and boiling point is not fixed. The last one, the constituents of a mixture can be separated by simple physical means. That means we can separate the constituents of a mixture, we can take them out by simple physical means. And why does that happen? Because in a mixture, the constituents are not chemically combined. There is no chemical bond in between the constituents. So they can be separated easily by physical methods. One example I tell you, if we have to separate common salt and iron fillings, suppose if they are mixed, if we have to separate both, we can take a piece of magnet and we can move over that mixture of iron fillings and common salt. And you know the property of iron, it is attracted by a magnet. The same property will be shown by that iron fillings also. So the iron fillings will be attracted and we can take them out. What will be left at the end? Salt will be left. So we see the salt and iron fillings can be easily separated by physical means. The next topic is states of constituents of mixtures. In a mixture, the constituents may be present in any of the three states. They may be solid, liquid or gas. According to that only, there are 6 major type of mixtures, and here they are. The first one is solid-solid type. Solid-solid mean both the constituents are solid in state. Examples you see, sand and chalk powder, and rice and chaff. Both are solid in state. The second one is solid liquid. In solid liquid, one component is solid and the other constituent is liquid. Examples we can see, salt water, chalk powder and water. Then the third one is liquid-liquid, that means both the constituents are liquid. Examples are oil and water, alcohol and water. Now you may say oil and water is not miscible, but we have studied about heterogeneous mixtures also. So don't think that a mixture that is something miscible only. Immiscible substances also can form mixtures, and that mixtures will be included in heterogeneous mixtures. Okay. Next one is liquid gas. Examples are aerated drinks. Aerated drinks means cold drinks in that carbon dioxide is dissolved. Carbon dioxide is air, and that cold drink, that drink is liquid in state. And that carbon dioxide normally it won't dissolve that much in water. At high pressure it is dissolved in that cold drink, and that bottle is sealed. When we open that seal, that pressure is released, and sometimes that because of the extra pressure, if we shake and open that bottle, that liquid, that cold drink may come out. Okay. Then aerated drinks, oxygen and water. Normally oxygen is soluble in water because we know that aquatic plants are there. Aquatic plants and animals, how are they going to get oxygen? They get oxygen from the dissolved oxygen. That means oxygen and carbon dioxide both, to some extent they are soluble in water. Alright. Then gas and gas. The best example is air. Gas mixtures. Air, you know, is a mixture of so many gases. Carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide. In fact, all the percentages, you know, nitrogen 78%, oxygen 21%, argon 0.9%. Then dust particles are even there. But here we are considering gas mixtures. Then solid liquid. The last one example is smoke. Smoke is a mixture of soot particles and air. From the factories we see black colored smoke comes out. It consists of small solid particles also. That solid particles get mixed with air and it forms the smoke. Okay. That's all for the video. Today we studied about 2 types of mixtures, homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. Then we also saw few terms like suspension, emulsion, alloys. Then we saw the characteristics of mixtures in detail. And the last topic was the constituents, was the state of the constituents of the mixtures. And after that, a chart is given in your book, difference in between compounds and mixtures. We have studied in detail about compounds and mixtures, so you can go through that chart and prepare it. Okay. And for the homework, you can read up to the topic, up to the page, up to where we have studied today. Thank you.